Up. I'll see you Monday for another Live Uncut. Be well and have a fantastic weekend. Go Sixers, go Flyers.
Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jen Frederick. Happy Friday to all who celebrate. Sports media is calling this Hate Weekend. It's kind of a joke where we play three of our team's biggest rivals, Boston Celtics, Atlanta Braves, and then the Pittsburgh Penguins. We're going to get to all of that throughout the next 2 hours. Good news on this Friday. Look at that New York Stock Exchange. It is greener and higher than we have seen in quite some time. Dare I say at least a month. We're going to look at the numbers, kind of translate what is happening, and hope for some sustained good news when it comes to your money, especially on this tax week. A lot of people had to pay some money, so they're hoping to make some money. The image below that is a live picture of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That is where the Flyers and the Penguins will play tomorrow night, 8 p.m. It really will be a matchup of kind of a young, untested playoff rookie team versus a veteran squad there. There are some veterans on the Flyers, but certainly the youth is really what many people believe have kind of propelled them into the playoffs, not just into the playoffs, but they're on their own measure. So we're going to talk to a lot of people about that game. We do know that the Phillies are playing tonight. We know the Sixers are also in the playoffs, but it's been years since the Orange and Black have had the opportunity to do something like this. And again, both of those teams, both the Sixers and the Flyers, will return next week. They'll play 2 games right there in that building. Hopefully they can finish out both of those series. Again, it's something that we will be talking about throughout the next 2 hours. We are also looking at what is happening in Washington. The Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., is being questioned at this hour about the practices and the policies within his department. We're going to listen in there.
As well as they possibly can, we want to, it's just the strategy, the philosophy that sometimes gets.
So you can hear that the audio coming out of that live feed, not ideal. We did dip in a little bit to this yesterday, and I have to say the members of this committee were certainly pretty direct when they were talking to the Health and Human Services Secretary. They wanted to know why he had directed certain things within his department. They kind of wanted to know where his initiatives are, where his priorities are, and where he expects this department to be in the future. Remember, the Health and Human Services Department takes care of so much. They give a lot of guidance to physicians. Notably, some pediatricians earlier in the year didn't like the guidance that they were given by this department. It had a lot to do with the vaccine schedule, an infant and young child vaccine schedule that had been followed for years and years and years. Basically, this department told doctors they could abandon that. And then the physicians kind of came back with that and he said, you know what, if it's not mandatory, then the vaccines that we need to give aren't covered by insurance. They're not available in pharmacies. So this department has faced a lot of scrutiny from doctors. And again, RFK Jr., the head of this department, the face of this, but also Dr. Oz, as you know, ran for Senate here in Pennsylvania, longtime physician and obviously media personality. He had quite a few shows, including one right here on Fox. So he has been a big part of the department and the ideas behind what they do and the decisions they make. So all of these things have kind of been brought into question throughout these hearings. The one thing that they want to do is they want to make sure that this serves as the primary oversight event for the Department of Health and Human Services under the Trump administration. These men and women are examining what they're saying the policies and priorities of this department. Specifically, when you think about the budget request that the president has put on the Congress. Basically, he has said that he wants a certain amount of money to accomplish a certain amount of things. And part of the reason for this hearing is they want to know what the plan is. We've heard the plan called the, quote, Make America Healthy Again, MAHA. But they do want to examine Secretary Kennedy's policy agenda, specifically when it comes to chronic disease and food safety. Many people like the idea of getting safer food in here, and we're going to listen in to see if we can hear them.
So to try to restructure the genuine individuals in whatever area.
The other thing that is happening today, it's a shame, we'd love to hear what's happening there. The other thing that is happening today, the gentleman who is accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk will appear in a Utah courtroom. You know, in Utah, right there, they do have cameras in the courtroom. You might remember Tyler Robinson is the 22-year-old accused of assassinating the conservative activist Charlie Kirk. He will be appearing right here. This is Provo, Utah, and it is a critical pre-trial hearing. And again, typically in Utah, we can see what's happening in their courts. In this court, they're weighing basically a motion from the defense to ban cameras and media recording for future proceedings. Robinson's defense attorney are arguing that basically the coverage has been over the top. They say it's been biased. They say social media narratives have tainted a potential jury pool. They've even talked about things which, by the way, unverified, but the defense has said has been some lip reading analysis of their defendant, which has been unfair. It has unfairly prejudiced him and really made him kind of behind the eight ball as he goes in to defend himself. The other thing that is happening, New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill, she is talking about a number of things, including her proposal to expand universal newborn programming.
Access to essential services. These governors really make a promise to come to Camden, and she's been in Camden quite a bit, so I like that. Black mothers and babies face high risk and barriers. Many of these challenges are preventable. This is about action, not just awareness. We must work together to eliminate the inequities. The Universal Newborn Home Visitation Program works. We heard story inside about the services they are providing, and sometime when they do their visit, and I don't know if the governor mentioned this, when they do their visit, they actually get to see the babies in distress and send them to the emergency room. So this program really works. It proof free is in support, right? So help improve outcome for mothers and babies. Me, myself, had a premature baby. And at that time, long time ago, I was provided with that service. And it made a huge difference because I was scared and I didn't know what to do with a premature baby. And he was a third one. So providing services to the mothers who probably are unsure of what they're doing or don't know if the baby is having problem or they're having problem is critical. So this is to ensure equal and access to I want to make sure that we provide these services to every single county. Every mother deserves a healthy pregnancy, a healthy delivery, support after the birth. Bottom line, better access, healthy babies. Thank you, Governor, for your initiatives and to put this in the budget as a priority. I commend you for that. Now it's my pleasure to introduce New Jersey Maternal Infant Health Innovation Authority President and CEO, Lisa Azari, a good friend of mine and who's doing a fantastic job. Lisa.
Good morning and happy Black Maternal Health Week. It's been a full week. We've had 67 events all across the state, but it's great to be in Camden this morning. I am a resident of Camden County, so I preferred the commute this morning to the commute to Trenton. So thank you for being here with us. I come to you from the New Jersey Maternal and Infant Health Innovation Authority. We are making strides in New Jersey. We are really leading in the country. Thank you. Amen. We're really leading in the country in terms of our efforts. But we want to create a world where babies and moms flourish. It's not just about survival. We want them to thrive. We want them to flourish. So I'm delighted to be here today to really talk about the Universal Home Visiting Program. It's a game changer. We are the second state in the nation to have such a comprehensive program, so it's our responsibility to raise the awareness of this program. It's for everyone, every new mom. I've had 3 kids, and I tell you that I could have benefited from this program at the time. So every mom needs this, and it's really our responsibility to let every mom know about this. I also would be remiss if I didn't thank Governor Sherrill for all of her efforts and for putting $48 million in the budget to extend universal home visiting. Give her a round of applause, please. She and her administration are breaking down barriers. They are breaking down barriers to really put New Jersey on the path towards equity and a state where babies and mothers flourish. The expansion of evidence-based programs like this is a true game changer, so I thank her for this opportunity. I thank her for having her administration so much behind this initiative. Many were concerned. We weren't sure if this would reach the prominence that it had reached, but I'm here to tell you that it has. It has. She is fully committed, and I thank her for that. So happy Black Maternal Health Week again. Thank you, Camden, for all that you're doing. We actually kicked off a lot of this work at Cooper Hospital right across the street. So it is telling that years later we're here.
So there you see Governor Sherrill, Mikey Sherrill is talking about a budget proposal to expand universal newborn programming. It's happening, as you just heard, in Camden. It's one of the things that we're going to be dipping in and dipping out of now until when it's over. It's one of the live events that is happening today. Friday, today is a day we're focused on all of your sports teams, the Big Four, absent the Eagles. And there is actually an Eagles story coming up with Michael Babcock, not a good one from TMZ. But bottom line, the Flyers are in the playoffs for the first time in a very long time. Coming up, we're going to speak with one of Philadelphia's favorite daughters, but I think you will be surprised by her outfit. Welcome back in, everybody. You see the name of that show. It is Philadelphia Live. So for the next 10 days, we are going to be caring about so many things. Most of them are sports related. This is the schedule just for the Flyers. When the Flyers match up against the Penguins, remember they did have an appearance in the playoffs during the bubble in 2020, but before that, 2018. So it has been quite some time since anyone has seen playoff hockey in Philadelphia. It's one of the reasons why we bring in Caitlin. She's here, a member of our team, and just a staunch, everyday, around the year Flyers lover.
Correct.
Okay, so first of all, how excited are you?
I'm thrilled. I got my birthday wish, Jen.
You did get your birthday wish.
I got my birthday wish. It was great. I loved it.
And you know, we have a lot of friends of the show.
We do.
One of them is Nicole, and she works.
Boo.
Okay, so this is Nicole.
I see this. Boo.
She's afternoons on 92.5. She's the social media queen. We typically love her. What the flip is happening with that shirt?
No, we don't like that.
So, hi, Jen. I love you. We talk all the time. And Jen hates the fact that I have a love for Sidney Crosby.
I kind of hate it too.
We
I'm
all
not
hate
gonna
it.
lie.
America hates it.
I know.
All right, continue.
So, could I
Make your
tell
case.
the really quick story? So the
Just
quick
do
story
it.
is that I grew up in a crazy sports family, but hockey was never a thing. I didn't know anything about hockey. Then I read Heated Rivalry. Yes, that Heated Rivalry 2 years ago. So I read it before it was even a show, anything. And it was inspired by Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin. So I go down the Sidney Crosby rabbit hole and literally became obsessed with him, because not only is he a GOAT on the ice, but he's this incredible human being off the ice, and he's hot, and he's age appropriate. Okay. So he's hot, a GOAT, a good human being. I go on the radio and I'm like, I love Sidney Crosby. I had no idea that Philly hates him. I literally had no clue that Philadelphia hates Sidney Crosby. So now it's become this whole thing where people are just mad at me because I hate Sid. And I'm like, here's the thing. He's incredible. Like he's every interview with him, everything he has done
Stop
for
talking.
Pittsburgh.
I'm done with you. All right, I gave you a little bit of time. We don't care that he's nice.
I don't care. He's nice.
Do you care that he's nice?
I don't care.
He's
nice.
old.
So I just want to get this straight. This has been because of Heated Rivalry, the book.
Yes.
So this is like, Heated Rivalry is recent.
Yes.
But I read it 2 years ago. So it's
this
been
is like a recent I like Sidney Crosby thing.
Yes.
But she doesn't
Yes.
like any of the Flyers. Like, she did go to Flyers game. She did go with Natalie Eganoff. But that should have been enough for her to be done with this Sidney Crosby.
That should have been enough.
But here's the thing. It's not that I'm rooting against the Flyers. I'm just
You're wearing
rooting
a Penguin
for
shirt
the-
on the biggest
Look,
Friday of the
it's
year.
Pennsylvania.
It's Sidney
Pennsylvania.
Crosby. Come on.
Don't we look cute? Look, don't we look cute together?
No, you don't
No.
actually. You don't.
Absolutely
you don't,
not.
Actually.
Mm-mm.
He's unattractive and old.
No, I don't like
Isn't
it.
he like 178 years old?
He will be 39.
That's old.
Wait, fun fact, really quick.
No.
He and Jalen Hurts have the same birthday, August 7th. You're also an August Leo, Jen.
Yeah, so is Tom Brady. You want to fall in love with Tom Brady? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Goats. Goats are Leos. Sidney Crosby, Jalen Hurts, same birthday, 8-7.
So is
Isn't
Ryan
that
Lochte, and
wild?
he's an embarrassment to America. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Strong.
All right, now listen. I will allow one thing. I will allow that you have the wrong idea about one guy on that team. However, you can't be wearing the shirt and you can't be rooting for them. What are you doing?
I'm not necessarily rooting for them or against the Flyers. And everyone's like, that's sacrilegious. And I go, hey, guess what? I have my own brain. I could do what I want. I say it's a win-win for me, because if the Flyers win, I'll be excited. And if Sid wins, I'll be excited. So it's really a win-win for everybody. I just really love Sid, and he got hurt and he couldn't win. He couldn't play in the Olympics.
All right, enough. Listen, everyone has given you this example. And by the way, I'm just having fun when I interrupt you because you know I love you.
Yeah, of
So I
course.
think there's social media. Just so I don't know if there's some. So look, I have been ripping on this woman for a long time. I was like, this is way better than a washed up hockey player. And then you're doing that. And then I'm like, you're on the wrong side of this. Like, I have been very, very upset about this, Nicole, and I've been trying to get you some help, candidly.
I know. Be good, and you can still not like him.
Yes, that's good. A player can be good and you can still not like him.
It's
Now,
more
wait.
about how he is as a human. He's such a good human being. All the things
There's
that
a
he's
You
lot
think
of
done.
good
Fuller
human
Martone is
beings.
nice?
Wait a
You don't
minute.
think Ladar is awesome? He's cheering for the city like no other goalie has in a very long time.
Right.
And there's nothing, he's not accused of anything terrible. This is what I was going to say to you. You hate the Dallas Cowboys. You don't like Dak Prescott. This is literally like your best friend being like, I discovered that Dak Prescott likes lavender vodka, so I would like to drink lavender vodka.
Hold on,
It's the
you're
same
wrong about
thing.
that because there's a very small part of me that has a soft spot for Dak Prescott because we have the same birthday. We have the same birthday. Also a Leo.
Wow.
July.
Wow.
We can't
Wow.
do this anymore.
Wow. All right.
We were
Listen.
friends.
Wow. You know, we will see you in 10 days when you're
Sad.
and lonely.
Yeah.
You'll have no friends. You'll have nothing to do. You will. And guess what? Because we're nicer than you and normal, we'll welcome you back on the Flyers bandwagon.
Only when
I will be happy if the Flyers win.
Oh,
But like,
I don't know.
I don't like any of this.
I don't like it.
I don't like this.
All right. I love you.
you know what? But
I don't
here's
like
the thing:
this.
is that I know, but I like you.
I said I love you. You only like me?
Ooh, ouch.
Oh,
Ouch.
I love you. I'm sorry.
Here's
I love
how
you.
I'll end this. From the graphics department.
It's upside down.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye, homie.
Jen.
Seriously?
Jen.
Seriously.
Jen.
Seriously.
Ah.
It's not happening.
That's not great.
I just want everyone to know this is what I'm going to wear during our Flyers coverage.
Yeah.
In this format.
I love it.
And here's why. Because then I can like go back to regular news gal,
You can.
right? When something happens.
Yes.
And I'm still wearing black.
Also, it keeps you warm because in here is
You
freezing.
never know when Keith.
Keith.
Not the heat miser, Mr. Freeze is going to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about the game? I feel good.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Here's how I feel. I know that we're not allowed to chirp Crosby. Apparently he feeds off of that.
Yes.
I have agreed for game 1 just to not even do it at home because one of the
I'm
members
still doing it at home.
Well, one of the members of the Flyers staff did tell me he thinks Sydney can feel that. So I'm not going to chirp. I'm just going to celebrate with Porter. I'm going to celebrate with Trevor. I'm going to celebrate with Vlad. I'm going to
absolutely.
go pro them. I'm not going to chirp pop Crosby just yet.
I still will. It's just who I am as a person. Sorry.
But you're nervous about game 1?
I'm always nervous about game 1s. That's just a thing.
Again, this team as a whole hasn't been there before.
Yeah, it's a lot of young players just trying to figure stuff out. It's going to be a lot of like nervous energy, I think, game 1. But then as game 2 and they start getting adjusted to everything with the pressure and the playoff feel.
I've done my research on
Yeah.
this. What everyone seems to be saying is the Fly guys are in the best position because of their head coach, Rick Tocchet, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was with that team.
Yeah.
He's been with both teams as a player. And so if there's anyone that knows that team and knows what they're going to face tomorrow night at 8 p.m., it's that guy. Yeah. So you're kind of sending in an enemy general in to win the battle 1 of the war. So I like that.
Yeah. I am always shaky when it comes to game 1, but I still think they're going to win.
Okay. All right.
Oh my
right.
God, let's go to the Sixers.
We're going to go to the Sixers, another playoff.
I feel like throughout the year we played them well, and we've had competitive games with them, and it was a fight. So, I'm just excited to get over there and compete. Try to have a dog fight.
Then this will be your first playoff game. I guess it's what's kind of like your feeling. So I guess maybe heading into your first game situation.
I haven't really thought about like that yet. It's just like we have a game, we got a job to do. Like let's go and try to win the first game. Let's establish yourself in the series and just play from there.
But I guess the preparation is different for this compared to like any type of game.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're gonna see the team minimum 4 times. So, I mean, yeah, you have longer preparation. It's more detailed. You can go more in depth on game plan stuff versus during the 82 where you play one team and then you gotta play another team the next night. So, the preparation is more, but I think it's gonna make for better basketball.
Yeah, that attention to detail is something that got a lot recently, just without getting too like game plan specific or strategy specific, just like maybe what's an example of something that you maybe go deeper into when you know you're going to see a team over and over versus just like
I would say like just having like multiple coverages for things. Like I think over the course of a game, like over like the course of the regular season, like we set up a game plan and like a coverage of what we want to do, but like it's hard to have like 4 or 5 different ones in your back pocket, whereas I think like now we can kind of do that and go over it more. So that's one thing I would say, like in terms of detail.
Does Tatum look like the same guy in film? I mean, he's coming back from a pretty serious injury. How's it going?
Looks good. He's making shots. I mean, obviously coming back from that injury, it's not easy. So, you know, credit to him for getting back and being on his recovery. And I don't know if anybody's ever come back this fast from an Achilles injury, but I'm worried about how the Philadelphia 76ers will. I'd say we can try to stop Jason Tatum. So moving well, moving out well. Don't matter.
Obviously, you guys are going to continue to fill in for Joel as a fan all season. I guess has everything that you've done, everything you've learned over the regular season, kind of prepare you for a moment such as this?
Yeah. I mean, I was hurt 2 of the times we played Boston, but you know, the 2 games I played them, Joel wasn't. We didn't have Joel, so. You know, I think, like, obviously we want Big Phil out there, you know, we wish him a speedy recovery, but we played this team without him, and we've kind of, like, seen what it looks like. Obviously, the intensity is going to be higher, and it's going to be a different feel of the game, but we kind of have a reference point of, like, what it looks like without him. So, yeah, I think we have a good strategy that we going with there. You know, I feel like everybody in the building.
So again, the Sixers are also officially in the playoffs. Again, they do game 1 on Sunday, 1 p.m. It's a similar format as the Flyers. It's basically 2 away, 2 here, and then 1-1-1. In both playoffs, in both rounds, the opposing team, not the Philadelphia team, has the advantage. So that's why they're starting away, and then it's 2-2-1-1-1. So we do have a calendar of that. We'll show you that in just a few minutes. At the same time, here in Philadelphia, all morning we covered this on Good Day Philadelphia, just a horrible, fatal car accident. Loss of life. Everyone that saw this accident, you know, the very tenured photographers that we have on the staff, they were talking about just how horrific it was. Jennifer Lee is on that this afternoon. Hey, Jen.
Hi, so we're here on Walnut Street in West Philadelphia, right behind Kenyatta Henderson here. Our photojournalist is 48th Street, so that's the intersection that we're on. And we just wanted to show you some of the remnants. I mean, if you even look on the sidewalk, there's so many shards of glass, and you can see some of these, you know, smaller metal poles that line the sidewalk here that are bent over, and you can see that white sedan. It was completely crushed by the impact, and it wasn't the only vehicle. Like you said, this is just a horrible situation here because police are saying that one driver and that driver's dog were killed in this high impact violent crash. And what police are saying right now is that it happened around 4 o'clock in the morning, again, 48th and Walnut Streets. And they're saying a black Dodge Durango was traveling west on Walnut Street, and it was going at such a high rate of speed and failed to stop at a red light, and it struck that other vehicle, which was a 2017 Chevy Malibu with the driver who was killed and sadly the dog as well. And what police are saying is that because the impact was so violent and strong, it ended up also crashing into 4 other parked vehicles here on Walnut Street. So that's what you're looking at here with this white sedan. In fact, one of the cars was pushed right onto the sidewalk here. Looks like that has obviously been cleared at this point, but you can just see, I mean, there's a set of keys here. I don't know if that's, you know, part of this crash, but it very well could be. Shards of different colored glass from vehicles. And it's just all over. It's hard to avoid glass if you're walking on this portion of Walnut Street right now. And I also want to point out there's a hair salon, really, really popular. Actually, I just walked in. Julissa Dominican Hair Salon, and you can see they have surveillance cameras. We actually just got surveillance video that shows the high impact of that crash. It's just horrific, like you said, Jen, of what, you know, the morning photographers were saying once they actually arrived and saw the aftermath of this. We are expecting a news conference with the Crash Investigation Division captain actually happening maybe in about an hour. So we're going to be heading over to North Philly to catch that. And yeah, Jen, maybe you can take it live if everything goes on schedule.
Yeah, that's our plan. 1:30 press conference about this accident. Thanks for the help. Again, just an ugly, ugly scene out there, and no one likes to see the loss of life. Thank you. So again, around 1:30, we're expecting that press conference. The other thing that we're expecting, we're going to go to TMZ. Wow, do they have a lot of stories? And one of them involves a former Philadelphia Eagle, and it's not a good story. Michael Babcock on the flip side of this break. Stick around. This is what playoff weekend in Philadelphia looks like in 2026. You see your Sixers head coach, Nick Nurse. He's kind of introducing what he's going to talk about. Both the Flyers and the Sixers in playoff action, and the Phillies are at home against the Braves. So again, beat sports reporters are calling this hate weekend because all three of our teams that are in action are playing our big time rivals. Sixers travel to Boston to play the Celtics. The Flyers are playing Penguins, as you probably know. And then, like I said, that's in Pittsburgh. And then here in Philadelphia, the Phillies are hopefully going to do something, but they do have Taijuan Walker there. So at the same time, a big breaking story is happening. TMZ, like they always do, they have so much information. Basically, this is the singer David, and he has been formally arrested for killing a 14-year-old. There has been some rumors for some time that he was potentially involved in this crime, but also involved in a relationship with her. Michael Babcock, you're with us. For people who don't know who he is, he's kind of like a TikTok sensation. Younger people absolutely know who this guy is.
Hey, Jen, that's exactly right. He was really popular online, on social media, on TikTok, and had really been finally garnering that commercial success for him, and had really been on a kind of a rocket ship of a trajectory. His career was really exploding, and then 7-ish months ago, this all happens, and obviously that changed everything for David then. But I mean, it's a terribly sad story, and it's just a really complex and really kind of crazy story. This poor girl goes missing as a 13-year-old, and then as she is 14 years old, is found September 8th in the basically the trunk of a Tesla that was owned by David. Now, the car had been left on the side of the road, Jen, in the Hollywood Hills. It was towed, and it's taken to an impound lot, and people are at the lot, and they say something doesn't smell right with that car. And when they finally go and they look, there are human remains in there, and it, again, ultimately ended up being this poor girl, Celeste Rivas. So the investigation has been kind of fast and furious since then. It's odd because last night, LAPD, this elite squad, robbery, homicide. They go along with the cavalry and they arrest David. He's staying at this rented property in LA. They take him into custody on the suspicion of murder. What's interesting, though, is that the DA has not filed charges, and it is possible that they say, look, we don't think that there's enough here to sustain a conviction, and they just let him go. So they're going to look at the case, they say, on Monday, but as of right now, he is in jail behind bars without bail, and he will be there throughout the weekend. But it is, again, possible that on Monday or Tuesday that he is sprung because the DA just says we can't charge him.
And again, she's 13, she's 14 when now. They have matching tattoos. Did I read that somewhere, that they both have each other's names or something like that?
Yeah, and you look, and there is a little bit of an age difference there, maybe more than a little bit. He is 21, she's 14. So you talk to people who are around them and hung out with them as a friend group, Jen, they'll tell you that they believe that she was a college student. They thought she was somebody who went to school at USC. And her mom says that she had a boyfriend named David. They certainly had some sort of relationship because there are photos and videos of them together hanging out. His lawyer, David's lawyer, says he did not murder her and he had nothing to do with her death. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens over these next couple of days. But there has been a lot of suspicion around him for some time here now, and finally the police go and make the arrest.
All right, so next story that we have here, I'm going to use your title for this one, the executive producer of sports at TMZ, Michael Babcock. What's going on with Alshon Jeffrey? He too arrested.
Yeah, he got arrested this week in San Diego, or in the San Diego area, for on 2 counts of insurance fraud. Now, one of them is definitely a felony. The other count could either be a misdemeanor or a felony, depends on what way prosecutors ultimately choose to go. But these are charges that can carry up to 5 years in prison and a pretty hefty fine. He says, through his PR rep, Jen, that he says, I had no idea what this was even about. He says, I got into a fender bender accident, minor accident, not too long ago, and I thought everything was fine. He says, myself and the person that I had the accident with, we were handling this outside of our insurance. And he says, I was totally caught off guard by this. So he gets pulled over and he gets arrested. And his story, at least, is I don't know what's going on here. Now, is that the story that the police will have? We will see. But again, 2 insurance fraud related claims that could carry years and years in prison if he's ultimately convicted. But he says, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I didn't do anything wrong.
So it's car insurance, because I think when we saw the headline, people thought it might have been like fraud in terms of like taking money for a false injury or something just related to his.
Right. That was where my mind went too, Jen. That's what I thought, and we've seen that in with some other NFL stars in the past. That's what I thought too. There wasn't a whole lot of information that we had at first, but we did know that he was arrested and we did have the charges, so there was some ambiguity to it. But ultimately, at least if you listen to what he's saying, it was just a insurance fraud relating to a car accident.
You guys have been on the case of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance for quite some time. She's gone back to work. One of the people that works with her, Chanel Jones, who used to work with us, was here in Philadelphia last night. We all wrapped our arms around her. She's had a tough year as well. But Savannah is back there. And now there's been back and forth on, is there a code word if something happens, where they get news about Nancy Guthrie? There was a rumor that she might have walked off the set at some point, but you have new information on this Nancy Guthrie disappearing case.
Yeah, and Jen, there was a lot of hope this week because the Pima County Sheriff, and obviously Pima County is the county where Nancy Guthrie lived. It's where she was living when she was abducted on February 1st, and it's almost unimaginable that all this time later that we are still seemingly at square one with the investigation. But people thought that, Jen, that they had found her. So the Pima County Sheriff on social media puts up a post that said, Nancy has been found, something to that effect. People see this and they wow, finally, there's some closure here. Savannah Guthrie and the family will have some answers. Well, it was another Nancy that had gone missing, somebody else who was a completely unrelated case to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, and they were posting about her being found. Now, you would hope that they might realize, okay, if we just say Nancy without a last name here, that people are going to assume that this was Nancy Guthrie, as it's been one of the biggest stories of the entire year and the biggest case that Pima County has ever investigated. So why they wouldn't have the foresight to know that, I don't know. But a big misstep, and it upset a lot of people because you had this moment of hope. Finally, okay, this is over. Not to be.
Yeah. All right, before I let you go, Christina Applegate, we know that she's been struggling with MS. Yeah. She did a great couple of interviews. She had a book out, right? Like a month or two ago. And she was swearing and fresh and sassy and saucy and talked about how difficult it is dealing with it. But now we know it's truly bad right now.
It is, and she's in the hospital right now, Jen. I mean, that's absolutely right about the book. She actually took a little bit of a hiatus from her podcast so she could go and do interviews and tour for the book. So she felt good enough to do all that then, which was encouraging. But we have learned that she has been in the hospital since late March. She still remains in the hospital. It's unclear if it is connected to the MS battle or not. I would think that it likely would be, but we don't have confirmation on that. But the bottom line is she has been in the hospital now for a couple of weeks, and you just hope she's okay. I mean, she has fought this thing so courageously, and I think has been a real inspiration to a lot of people out there who are going through a similar struggle. And again, you really hope she's okay.
All right, it's Friday. We're going to end on a rapid fire question and answer. Okay. Are you ready? I'm talking about the series. I'm not talking about the game.
Okay.
For the series, who do you have winning, Penguins or Flyers?
Flyers.
Thank you. For the series.
I know who I'm talking to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For the series, Celtics or Sixers?
Well, listen, I'm no Celtics fan. Not that I'm a Sixers fan, but definitely no Celtics fan. You mentioned Nick Nurse before you brought me on here. Nick Nurse's, I think, son-in-law lives in my building with me.
Oh.
See him a little bit. So let's go. We're going to go 76ers, beat the Celtics. Let's go. We'll go. Yeah, I'm not going to give a prediction on games. Sixers win, though.
And then it's also the Braves decided to come to town to play the Phillies.
The Braves decided. Okay, Phillies scuffling a little bit, right? Not been great so far.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Phillies too because why not? I don't like the Braves, right?
No one died. He knows who he's talking to. All right. Thanks for the help. We know you're a busy guy. I'm glad we got to a couple things today. Appreciate the help.
I'm glad you had me. Thanks so much, Jen. Have a great weekend.
You too, babe. All right, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. There's a lot happening. We have reporters across the area. We're waiting for a couple of press conferences. And of course, we're still going to talk about your sports teams. You're going to see it all right here in 2 minutes. In this room, everyone gets a vote. There are so many cameras. We have a lot of live feeds, and we just had a little bit of a debate here, but listen what's going to happen. We're going to tell you about the tick situation right here in Pennsylvania. And for that, we have Ellen Kaloje. Ellen, there's a big, huge monster sports star that's talking, but we're going to you. We choose you.
Oh no, that's a lot of pressure. Well, this is an important story. Those pesky ticks are worse than ever this year in Pennsylvania. So we're here at Wissahickon Valley Park. It's beautiful out here, but we hope that people who are out and about are putting on bug spray. And here's why. The CDC is reporting more people heading to the ER for tick bites across Pennsylvania this year and around the whole region. In fact, the numbers have been rising for the past 4 weeks. Now that's because the cold weather actually helped the ticks this winter, and then the warm weather brought them out even sooner. Now we know these blood-sucking critters carry all sorts of diseases, especially Lyme disease, which can be deadly. So experts are warning people to be extra careful when you're outside walking or doing any outdoor activities, especially in the woods out here where there's a lot of brush or grass. Now you need to take care of you and your pets with bug spray. Make sure you cover up even if it's hot. And always check for ticks after you've been out and about, especially in places they tend to stick, like under your arms, behind your ears, or your knees. Bottom line, be careful. Lots of ticks are out here ready to take a bite out of you and your pet. Now, if you do get bitten by a tick, PA Tick Lab has a free service. You can send the tick to them if you still have it. Send it to them. They'll test it for free. Just go to ticklab.org. So that's it, Jen. That's what's happening out here. Get back to that big sports star, but that's a big story out here. Ticks are no joke this season. So go to ticklab.org.
We've done that actually. We did it to when the kids were little. We pulled something out of back of Landry's hair. Real quick, what type of bug spray do they recommend? I think they want us using DEET. Yes?
Well, I didn't really get into that with her. She just said bug spray in general. But yes, I'm sure that DEET would be good. But I know that there are a lot of products that don't have DEET, because I know a lot of people are a little nervous about DEET. But she did not specifically say what kind. She just said bug spray. So good question.
Thank you. We appreciate the help.
An expert we talked to, when I say she, an expert we talked to from Tick Lab.
Makes sense. And now we go from Ellen to Paul George.
Ready for that. So, for it to be in a playoff mindset, it's no difference. Whoever's thrown in front of us, front of me, like, it's a series. We got to try to figure out how to beat them.
Tatum specifically, when you're preparing for him as a defender, you've seen a lot of them, but he's obviously coming back from a pretty serious injury. When you're watching film, are you looking to see, all right, where's he at right now compared to before? Who is this guy compared to the guy I'm used to?
Tatum is Tatum, man. Tatum is Tatum. That's the good thing about the great ones, regardless if they're limited or if they're not all the way themselves, they just adapt to the game. And I'm sure he'll be the one to tell you that he's learned and picked up some things that he wasn't doing before the injury that now, has helped him be a better player at this point in his career. So, it could be good or it could be bad that he's not, probably all the way back to where he was because he's evolved. So he's still producing. He's still a big-time player. He's still, can book 20 points in the book form on the night. So I'm expecting, that same battle that, he's always presented.
In terms of this is what you play for all year, getting to this point, as you alluded to the other night, after accomplishing all that you have in your long career, how do you view this opportunity now to try to get that championship compared to opportunities earlier in your career?
Just take it one game at a time, one step at a time. This is a unique situation with it being a young group for the most part, and to kind of help lead a group of young guys. Again, hopefully we keep this alive as long as possible, and we get a chance to get Big Fella back to kind of help push us even further. But it's one game at a time, and that's really just how I'm looking at it. However, the chips settle, but can't win a championship without winning the first one. So We just got to stack some wins.
A lot of those young guys have, in particular, have talked about the uptick in attention to detail when you reach a postseason playoff series type situation. Just without giving away like game plan type stuff, just maybe what's an example of something that you guys can sort of focus in on more versus just like a normal scouting report when the 82 games are just coming.
Yeah, I think the highlight, especially when it comes down to postseason play, is possessions, and I think our Achilles heel has been giving offensive rebounds or giving teams extra possessions. So if there's an attention to detail for us, is to limit how many possessions we give the opposing team. So there should be an emphasis for us to rebound better in the postseason.
And after talking with Dom and Coach Nurse, it's not like you guys aren't giving them their respect. You called Boston the Undernight champions, and they accomplished a lot with 2 superstars. But after talking with them, it doesn't feel like you guys are viewing this as a underdog versus a heavy favorite type of thing. Why do you think that is?
That sounds like a little bulletin board material right there.
I wasn't trying to make it.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. We've given them their respect, but at the end of the day, man, it's competition. It's competition. We got to go and compete. They got to go and compete. That's just what it boils down to. Without going too further into it, it's a competition at the end of the day. So they gotta beat us and do what they gotta do, and we have to come in with the same mindset. So it's two sides, same agendas. We're not gonna back down. They're not gonna back down, and it's just gonna be what it is.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks. All right, I probably didn't appreciate that.
Nah, yeah. I'd have been around a lot. I know.
So there you go, Paul George, just kind of talking about what the expectation is going into the beginning of the official first round of the playoffs for the Sixers and the Boston Celtics. Now, Jason Martinez apparently doesn't have too much to do at work because he spent 1 hour on this project. And if you're asking, I asked him too if he used ChatGPT, Claude, any of those AI platforms, and he says he didn't. Liar. I think he's a liar too. Okay, and our director that's here, Steve Bradley, says it's busy. It's a little busy. I did say this to Jason, and he said, "quote because there's 10 events that he had to get to." So, again, Jason Martinez has so little to do when he's working here that he had 1 hour.
Doesn't he have 9 kids?
He has 9 kids and still nothing to do. And you wonder why that wife is doing self-care when you're home for the evening. A fun fact about Jason Martinez, in the whole entire Fox group of people that are on TV, so like talent, whatever, that's what they call people in the business, he did this social media thing where basically he said his wife was not really attracted to him, for lack of a better definition. Oh. He was, that right there made number 2. He was the second highest social media campaign for the whole week. That beat people who are covering the president, the war, the Kardashians, the playoffs, him being denied by his wife, number 2 in the whole group. So anyway, now we know why she's probably not interested. He's busy with this. Oh. Okay? You were wondering how I was getting there. He's doing this. He should be doing the dishes. All right, so let's see what we have here. So tonight is when you want to hydrate, you want to work out, you want to do your laundry, you want to food prep for the week, because it all begins tomorrow, Saturday. As you see, Flyers at the Penguins, 8 p.m. The next day, the next afternoon. So you get up early, you get that, whatever you're getting done. Sixers are at the Celtics, then game 1. Okay, so then you have some time Sunday evening. You talk about it. How are we doing? How do we feel? And then bam, right next. Again, we see on Monday, Flyers at the Penguins, game 2. You can't take those kids to lacrosse practice. No one's getting picked up from ballet. Don't tell me you have to stay after school. Then again, bam, the next day, Sixers at the Celtics, 7 p.m. If you have a poster that is ready if you have a kid that is late with talking about projects, this is the weekend to grill them. Wednesday, then it's in our house, right? Then you have the Penguins at the Flyers, 7 o'clock. It's on 85 different streaming things. And then Thursday, again, they have to switch the ice. Then they have to melt, they have to ice over that floor and then have that happen, then bam! Wait, I lied.
The draft is Thursday.
The draft is Thursday.
In
They don't have to
Pittsburgh,
melt
ironically.
anything. Right, then they go back to Pittsburgh. You know what? You could stay in Pittsburgh if you're a Pittsburghian. Stay there. We don't need you. And then bam, on Friday, that's where it happens. The Celtics at the Sixers, game 3. And you know what? It is game 3. You know who I think it's going to be there? Number 3, AI, Allen Iverson. I think that could happen. Then we have had since Wednesday to think about what is going to happen on Saturday. Bam, bam, it happens right there, because this is when we could clinch. This is when it could happen for us at home. 8 o'clock, I hope you don't have plans. If you do, you have 14 different streamery things. You can put it in your pocket. I'm officially giving you permission to watch that game when you are on a date with your lady. Finally, hate week. Again, I didn't name it. These sports people, it comes to an end. But bam! Where the Celtics at the Sixers, this is where we could close that out. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Could you dream of a Philadelphia where in one weekend, as opposed to other weekends where it hasn't gone this way, we close out 2 different playoff runs with a win in our home? And you know what? The people that work there at that Xfinity Center now, that used to be Xfinity Mobile Marina, they deserve this. They deserve the fun. It's going to be a busy 24 hours for them. Frank in security, he's my guy. He lets me walk in whatever door I want. With I mean, like, you know, like with my pass, I'm allowed. Sure. Shout out Frank. That's what you're looking at. That is what your weekend looks like. And again, because there are so many things happening, everyone's going to be busy, but it's a good kind of busy. And again, we didn't even mention the Phillies. I'm sorry, that's a Jason problem. I knew there was a Jason problem. That is the Jason problem. They will be covering a lot of this on the Fantastic Sports Show. You can watch that if you wish.
You should watch it.
Or wait. Or you could be right here. Or you could be right here. Or you could be right here. Caitlin, show you like more. Caitlin.
Jen,
Caitlin.
they're different times.
This is where we live. This is where the pancakes are paid for, okay? Right here on this show. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break. We're going to reset. What are we doing? We're talking to the Flyers next in 2 minutes. Welcome back, everybody. It's straight up 1 o'clock, and this is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Why the heck are we looking at Pittsburgh on a Friday? Because tomorrow at 8 p.m., your Philadelphia Flyers will travel there. They will play their game 1 in the first round of the playoffs, and that will happen for the first time in a very, very long time. Christina Mina is the Senior Vice President of Marketing for the Philadelphia Flyers. I know that Christina likes her fashion, so since we're going to talk a little bit about my Fly Guys, I'm going to get dressed appropriately. Hey, Christina.
Hi, how are you? Love the jacket.
Well, I said this is appropriate because even though it's not, cold outside, when we go and sit inside, it is a little chilly in the arena.
So true.
Okay, so talk to me. I just had a very sophisticated map of all of the things that are going to be happening. Your neighbors are going to be playing in the same stadium, obviously a little bit next week. There's so much happening, but we really today, especially on Good Day and during this show, we're kind of focused on the guys that wear orange. So take me through some of the cool events you guys have prepared for us.
Yeah, we are so excited to ignite the orange across Philadelphia as we get back into the playoffs. We have a bunch of different things going on throughout the city, starting tomorrow night with our first away game. We're going to be doing our official watch party over at Stateside Live across the parking lot down here in the sports complex. And then we'll have a bunch of stuff going on throughout the week. Watch parties will happen for every away game at Stateside Live. We have a big pep rally going on starting at City Hall on Monday. And that will go from City Hall to King of Prussia to media, and it will end at Stateside Live right before the watch party. So we're excited about that. We'll have our ice team. We'll have Everett and Lou Nolan and a lot of the Flyers personalities there. And we want fans to come get flyered up with us. And then we're also going to have a pep rally on Tuesday down at the Comcast Center with our same cast of characters and opportunity to win a pair of playoff tickets. So really exciting, really excited to see the fans and get Xfinity Mobile Arena nice and orange.
Today I had the opportunity to be in Broomall, Delaware County at an elementary school, Loomis Elementary. And your team brought like a giant blow up, a kind of like, hockey net. And then we had a scrimmage with kids and stuff. The kids were losing their minds. Like the kids, you look at them and they don't know that we haven't been doing this for, years and years. They think this is business as usual. They were so pumped up, so happy. Your team was great. So thank you. And then the adults are very nostalgic about it. What I love, and I'm sure you were a part of this, the hype video really celebrates both sides of this, right? It celebrates that this is a new team, new opportunities, but also you can't have the guys in orange and black without the Broad Street Bullies, without Bernie Perrant and some of the older generation of champions. So I love the blending together, and it was nice to see the community coming from a couple different angles. I'm assuming you're seeing that too.
Absolutely. And I think that's what's so special about all of this is it has been a few years, but the nostalgia that it brings back and when you talk to everybody in the city, they have memories of our many playoff runs in the past. And we're so excited to be able to bring that back. And how cool to clinch on a shootout save similar to in 2010. And having Brian Boucher narrate that video was just really special for us. And we're so excited that people have all these really positive memories from the playoffs, and we can't wait to make some new ones.
Single game playoff tickets are still available, I'm told.
They are. PhiladelphiaFlyers.com. We want everybody here. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a packed house, and we can't wait.
Well, we love to talk Flyers all the time. Just so you know, Greg Payne, who works with us, he's been on the bandwagon since November. Caitlin's here. She wears her orange for every game. I know there's some bandwagon people right here, but there are a lot of people in the building and in the city that are just so happy.
We're so excited, and there is room on the bandwagon for everybody. So
yay. Love it.
Now's the time.
Okay, go Flyers, and thank you so much. I know you're busy. We appreciate you checking in. Tell Lauren we had said hi. All the people that work for you have been amazing. Give them all a raise today.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Jen. Love the jacket.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, we're going to go to a quick break. I may or may not still wear this. This will be cool. Do the bosses see me wearing it? Am I going to get in trouble? I don't know. It's Friday. Come on back. It's going to be fun. Don't make it colder. Welcome back in, everybody. I'm Jen Frederick. This is Philadelphia Live. What you're looking at right there is a live pre-trial hearing. It's happening in Provo, Utah, and it centers around the defense of Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson is the 22-year-old who is accused of assassinating activist Charlie Kirk. And again, he's appearing here because his defense team believes that the potential jury has already been biased by so much media coverage of this case. In the state of Utah, cameras are allowed in the courtroom. His team is trying to make it so we can't see what's happening. We can't hear what's happening. Right near, they're talking about a couple of different DNA reports. We're just going to listen in for a moment or two.
Mr. McBride is right that at a certain time and place, there will be discovery litigation related to experts and then admissibility litigation related to experts. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about very concrete data files that our experts are waiting for. And when I say data files, I literally mean the digitization of physical evidence obtained from our client and from these objects. We didn't choose for the state to present DNA evidence at the prelim. That's their choice. And that's why we are having this dispute right now. The question that I think this court needs to also address is when Mr. McBride talks about what discovery is, quote, reasonably available to the prosecution. How can this court conclude that not having these data files is reasonable, given that the ATF and the FBI generated these data files from the swabs months ago? They've concluded their work, as far as we know. They've generated reports. The state believes that the reports are sufficiently final that they would offer them into evidence in a preliminary hearing. So I think this court should make the finding that those reports are reasonably available and that they should be produced to us. Mr. McBride, probably because he can't, still hasn't told the court why we don't have the data files. So where Mr. McBride, with all due respect to his advocacy, because he's a fantastic advocate, is he goes into the slippery slope of expert discovery and expert notice and Daubert, and that's really not what we're talking about here. We're also not talking about the bullet fragment further testing issue, which has previously been described as the January 9th motion, which the court unsealed. That is not a DNA issue. That is about what happens to a bullet fragment when a federal law enforcement lab wants to do what they call destructive testing. It's not to get DNA off of it. It's to look at whether that bullet fragment can be related to the other evidence in the case, because the ATF's first conclusion, as the court knows, is that they couldn't say either way where that bullet fragment came from in terms of firearms. So that is not what we're talking about here. There is a ballistics report that the state wants to offer into evidence at the prelim, but we're talking about DNA reports. And I do want to say, however, that we are not suggesting that the preliminary hearing be postponed until this dispute about the destructive testing of this bullet fragment is resolved. But it was a federal law enforcement lab that said, we're not going to permit a defense expert to observe the destructive testing, and we're not going to videotape the destructive testing. We're going to do this behind closed doors. But that's not what we're talking about here today. That's a different issue for a different time. And I don't think it has anything to do with when the preliminary hearing occurs.
Mr. Novak, just to be consistent, do you have some final thoughts as your time is coming to a close?
Yes, thank you. My final thought is that this court should direct the state attorneys to find out when the data files will be produced. And once we know that date, and they actually are produced, then we've already told the court that there's a concrete amount of time that our experts need in order to analyze them. Otherwise, I've already argued about the
So again, this is a pre-trial hearing for Tyler Robinson. He is the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk. We were told that a lot of it was going to be about whether or not cameras would be allowed in the courtroom. They're clearly talking about some technical information related to the evidence that was found on that scene. At the same time, your money is doing pretty good. Let's take a look at the stock market. This is a live picture of the New York Stock Exchange. We saw this, and candidly, we were like, what is happening? What is this? It's so high. And this is the headline: the Strait of Hormuz is completely open. So this is what we call the Strait of Hormuz tracker. And as you can see, there's a lot of green, there is a lot of red, but the green is clearly closer to like where you would go through there. I am not a naval navigator. I am looking at a map along with you guys, but I can tell that from here, it looks pretty good. You know what else looks pretty good? Our chances against the Penguins. Hunter Brody is going to join us. We're going to see what he has to say about the Penguins and the Flyers matchup in 2 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, this is where your weekend will begin. On the left, you have Pittsburgh. I haven't been there in a lot of years. I'm not really interested in going there. But the Flyers are traveling there. Lots of fans, I'm hopeful, will as well. And they will play the aging Penguins. Fresh legs versus Pop Pop. And then on the other side of your screen, you do see the arena that will be very busy next week. It's called Xfinity Mobile Arena. Thank you. Thank you. It's not called the Wells Fargo Center anymore. It has a new name, and I got it right. We also have to talk to the people who make this their business. The Flyers is business year-round to one Hunter Brody. Ladies and gentlemen, there he is. How are you? Now,
I'm
Hunter.
doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm better than anyone. I'm going to put on my official Talk About the Flyers outfit. Thank you. Thank you very much. Keith tried to put it on. It was too tiny. So it's a true story. Here's where I would like to begin. Let's begin with some serious, no-nonsense sports talk. I believe that it is fully believable and fully okay to think that the Flyers can win this series. What say you?
I agree with you. I really do. I think that this team is young and stupid in a good way. They're naive. They don't even understand the pressure because they're just playing good hockey. They all believe in one another. Rick Tocchet has this thing humming. So I just think it's one of those things where they're too stupid to even understand where they're even at, and they're just believing in what's going on here. And that's going to work to their benefit. Also, I think they have the better goalie. And because you got someone who's better in between the pipes, if you've been watching hockey forever, you know a hot goalie can bring you on a crazy ride. So because of those two things, I actually think we're in a good spot here. The only thing that scares me, the only thing is special teams. The Flyers power play is worst in the league, and their penalty kill is a little hot and cold, while the Penguins have a good power play and penalty kill. So if you can limit the special team damage the best you can, then they really do have a good shot here.
How is it that it is so bad? Because every time I hear the words Pico power play, I'm like, it's going to happen. They're going to do it. It's going to be amazing. And then they don't. What is the problem there?
I wish I had the answers, because if I did, I'd be a billionaire and I'd be standing on that bench next to Rick Tocchet. But I'll give you more optimism, though. The newness of Porter Martone and his ability to score and the game changer that he is, he does give you this element on the man advantage that they didn't have when he was still playing at Michigan State. So since he got here about 9 games ago, there have been a little bit more positivity, let's say, in that area, and maybe that can continue in the postseason. But I don't think they have a quarterback of the power play. Normally you need to have someone who, the power play runs through that guy and he sets up everything. Normally a defenseman maybe at the top of the blue line, and it's just not one of their strengths right now on the personnel.
One of the things I said about Tocchet, he's been there. He's been in Pittsburgh. He's been here. But it's kind of like we're sending an enemy general to fight this fight, right? Like there's no one better that you want coaching this group of guys than a man who has been in the other building.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And there's just something to be said about what he molded this locker room into as well. So he's done it as a player. He's done it as a coach. And now the way this team has became a team, they are playing like family. And, there was a little bit of controversy about Matvei Michkov in his second year and the way he came into shape, and maybe the way that the team didn't love the way he addressed certain things in the offseason, but they got over that hump. And, you bring in Zegras, and he went from wing to center, and Tocchet really pushed the belief of him playing up the middle. And now there's more forming there from a relationship standpoint. So Tocchet, whether it's from enemy territory, being on the other side, being on this side, player, coach, you name it, the relationship that he has built with this group, getting ready for this particular matchup, using all of his former, just experiences and the experiences now on the bench. When he went to the Olympic break, there's this big talk about him talking with other coaches to figure out maybe things in the D zone, and he brought that back to the Flyers. So all these experiences throughout his career has clearly played a role in the way that this team is buzzing right now, and you got to give him a lot of credit for it.
Broads, I like to think we're forming a relationship. I think my energy matches your energy. What do you think?
I agree with you. Yeah, I very rarely do I see people bring it to the nth degree. You're doing it, my friend. You're doing it.
Thank you. Now, because we're going to be BFFs, you said there's one problem with this team, and it's special teams. And I have one problem with you. And I think you know what it is.
I think I do.
I think I have evidence of you cheering for Sidney Crosby. And I just brought this up with Nicole from the radio. What is wrong with you people? How am I supposed to trust you? I think we have video or pictures or some kind of evidence. Let the jury see what is happening here. Not only did you cheer for this guy, you're in the enemy outfit.
Oh,
what
come on.
doing?
That's AI. I swear to God, that's AI. It really is AI, I promise. But the reason why some of my friends over at WIP decided to pull this little prank with social media with me is, he's just so good. He's so good. I respect him so much, it hurts my soul. Now, I always preface it by saying two things. One, it's my only flaw in life. It's my only flaw in life. And two, I forget to. Oh, yeah. I want to kick his rear end. Like, I want to kill him this weekend and over the next couple of games. So, I respect him, but I want to kick the rear end. That's all.
Okay. Is it really AI?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I thought it was real.
No, I didn't. I don't own any Crosby apparel. Listen, I'm in my little studio in the basement. There's a Simone Gagne bobblehead here. I got Jeremy Roenick. I got, all sorts of. I'm a Flyers guy. I don't have any Pittsburgh stuff. I just respect him so much because he's so good.
But he's old.
So good.
He's old.
He's old.
It's time for
he's
Pop
old.
Pop
Gray
to go
hair.
home. It's
hair.
time for Pop Pop to go home to wherever it is that he needs to go. We're done with him. So I do believe and I'm going to use your words, the young and stupid can beat the old and tired. I really believe that. As you say, I think Marty, I use hockey nicknames now. I think Marty was like, having a time out there in Michigan State, and they like broed him up, and they were like, yeah, just take a shot. You could get the biscuit. We don't care. Keep firing a shot. And then I think Rick Tocchet was like, do you, babe? And I think as long as he again, this is official sports talk, be cool. I think as long as this guy continues to be him, it lets the other guys reduce the stress, or as you say, not even know about it, because again, your words, they're dumb. But I think it allows them to be this team that is so quintessentially Philly.
Yeah, I know. I agree completely. Now, something was brought up to my attention over the last 24 hours. I never really sat on it yet, so this is me just speaking out loud. Some wonder if the timing off, they were playing red hot. They had the back-to-back on Monday and Tuesday. They got in on Monday. I was at the barn. The place was electric, but now, you got to wait for Wednesday and Thursday to go by so the NHL could figure out the regular season ending, and then you have off on Friday. Then you play Saturday night. Are they going to lose some steam? You talk about Pop and the old guys. Are they getting their legs back while the Flyers are cooling off, and maybe that plays a role into game one, game two? Now, I don't think I buy it. Again, this is me talking out loud. Let me digest it a little bit. I don't think I buy it, but I'm at least throwing it into the ether for interesting discussion's sake.
I have said, Caitlin said it, I'm going to pretend like it's my idea, that, game one, they have to see what it feels like. They've never been there, right? So you combine the couple of days off with what the heck is happening here? We're in the playoffs now. I think that will be a unique experience. So the question is, in how many games are we winning this?
7. I think it's 7. Yeah, it's going to be emotionally draining. And this is supposed to be hard, right? No one's going to expect these kids to just walk in and win in 4 or 5. We're going to go on the road, and we're going to smack them around in 7, and that building's going to get quiet. That's going to be a beautiful feeling. Now, remember, it's going to be ups and downs. You're going to be down 2-0. You're going to tie it up 2-2. You're going to blow a 2-1 lead. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You got to be ready to ride the emotional roller coaster. I mean, we haven't been here in 8 years, so I just want to get everybody in the right mindset. It's going to take 7 games, and it's going to be chaos.
Okay. Thank you, therapist Dr. Brody. We appreciate that. Keith refuses to put on the jacket. Is that true?
No, I'm done.
Okay, get over here. So Keith is a Buffalo Bills fan, and here we go. I think it fits. Hold on. Let's see it. I think it's good.
Well, he looks like a great guy. I don't know if the jacket is fitting.
All right.
Looks like a great guy. Now, is he a Sabres fan or is he a Flyers fan?
You don't do Sabres, right?
No.
No.
Okay.
It's just a one-man show.
Well,
with
what's
that
wrong
guy.
with the Eagles? What's wrong with the Eagles that we can't get the appreciation?
Bros, why have we just become best friends today? You've been alive a long time. I've been alive a long time. Why is it now happening? Where'd you go with my coat?
Comes right there.
Okay. Why is it just happening now?
Well, I don't know. You got my socials. You got the cell phone number, the email address. You know, I'm only a little couple thumbs away.
Okay, and then wait. We care about them. Sixers, do they win?
We care about that. This is what we care about. Watching VJ Edgecombe gain some experience against Joe Mazzulla and some tough environments in postseason ball. I think so. I asked this question the other day. What's more of a realistic finish? Sixers losing in 4 or Sixers losing in 6? And a lot of people said 4. I think they have a better chance of stealing 2 games than most people do.
So optimistic. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Brody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, this is Fox. We have an elite set of tools here. I just want to say thank you for joining us. TGIF. I'm not like Jason Martinez spending an hour on my graphics package. I got stuff to do. Oh, it's Keith's, but whatever. I don't care. Keith, we're all a family. Thank you for joining us, and I've got very bad news for you. You will be requested here quite often in the days and weeks ahead.
That's okay. As long right now I got baby number 2 just on the back side of this wall. Hopefully she's still swinging in the swing because I'm okay as long as she's okay. That's the real question.
What is happening? Do you need a babysitter?
What, am I not allowed to admit that? She's okay. She's in a swing. She's got on Miss Rachel. She's got her binky in her mouth.
You're
Oh,
screaming.
no, she's good. No, she's good. She's 9 months. She gets it. She gets it.
What's her name?
I have 2 daughters. One's 2.5. Her name's Brooklyn.
Cute.
And then I have Mia, who's 9 months old.
Okay. Well, where's Brooklyn? She should be babysitting. She's 2.5.
My wife is out with Brooklyn at a tulip festival. A tulip festival.
I'm glad I saved you from that. I'm glad I saved you from that.
Yeah, well,
You're
I
welcome.
said I have a huge, massive, insane event at 1:15 on Fox. That's what I said.
That's what he said. Bros,
That's what I said.
we love you. Go
We love
everyone.
you too.
But
We
mostly
love
the
you too.
Flyers. We gotta go. That's my new best friend, guys. I want to introduce you to my new best friend. And there I did. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break. That's entertainment and information all in one. You get a little bit of that when you join us here at noon. Welcome back in, everybody. I'm Jen Frederick. This is Philadelphia Live. Here in Philadelphia, we're waiting for a press conference about the deadly car accident that happened at 48th and Walnut early this morning, about 4 a.m. When that becomes available, we're going to bring it to you live. In the meantime, Tyler Robinson, who is the man who stands accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk, is in a pretrial hearing. His team is. The big focus of this is whether or not court will allow television cameras during everything that happens in this case. The defense team for the 22-year-old has said that the coverage of this case has already prejudiced so many potential jurors. However, in the state of Utah, it's commonplace to have cameras in the courtroom. They see it as a freedom of speech issue. So we're going to listen in as the defense continues to make several arguments about what they want as this trial proceeds.
Of physical evidence taken from our client and certain objects that leads these forensic examiners to conclude that there are matches. Mr. McBride says, oh, there's two different things, and so they're both right because they each independently reach the same conclusion, but they're testing different objects in different labs with different protocols. We don't even have those data. And yes, with respect to the court may be asking me a question that is better addressed by Mr. Burt because he's the one who specifically crafted the discovery request, and I know that Mr. Burt has reviewed more of the DNA forensic discovery than I have, but I can tell the court that without those data files, we can't even start to analyze, to understand, to appreciate.
So again, we continue to listen for some of the pre-trial requests that are being given to the court on behalf of Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old who is accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk. At the same time, in the box below, we do have New Jersey Transit. What are they talking about? We believe they're talking about how they will get people around the region during the FIFA World Cup.
Tickets go on sale next month. How do you go about getting those tickets? And do you anticipate there being a rush, like get them now because of the way that they're
which we are going to make it as explicit and clear as possible that this is the first come, first served. And we will work very closely with this committee to make sure we not only launch it in a way that is visible with FIFA on all platforms, but we also will make it a very specific point that these are first come, first tickets. Once 40,000 tickets are done, that is the end. They have to go somewhere else.
basically the discounts will be extended to commuters who are not working overtime. Specifically, what days those discounts will be available?
So let me talk about the biggest category of tickets we usually get are one-day tickets on a digital app. So we now are talking about 4 one-way tickets, one to New York, one back, and then June 30th, one way, one back. So one day before, I'm going to use June 22nd, you can buy a ticket, and that ticket essentially, you can use it June 22nd, but that ticket with a 20% discount, because when we use a digital app, the promotional code kicks in, and we can build up the technology. But that ticket is good for the next 30 days. So that is the other advantage. If for some reason, if a customer has heeded our ask and not traveled to New York, but still wants to get the benefit of a $20, frankly, the governor strongly believes that that person should be getting the 20% discount. So let's say you buy it on the 21st of June. You essentially have another 30 days to use it with that 20% discount. Anthony, is that clear? Correct. Right. The details will be the press release, and then we also will, if that person happens to go at a time where, let's say, they have to get off Newark and they have to get off a path, that's also a cross-up for the days that their games are. But the details will be in the press release. let me answer the second question first. I think what you're asking is whether we are in compliance with the consumer protection, which essentially prohibits price gouging.
All right, this is a New Jersey Transit press briefing, but it's kind of difficult to hear. So I'm going to tell you what the New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill is saying about this. So basically, the New Jersey Transit, they have what they're calling a World Cup mobility plan. As you know, the finals are up there in MetLife, which even though people say it's in New York, it's technically in New Jersey. So number one, during the World Cup final, it sounds like there will be no parking fees. Is that right? Oh, you know what? We can listen in. Oh, you know what? We're going to talk about this in just a minute because we were talking about this earlier. At the corner of 48th and Walnut this morning, a person lost their life. It was a really, really terrible car accident. The press conference has begun. We're going to look at this information and listen into this.
Yes, at 48th and Walnut, approximately 4:01 a.m., we had a Dodge Durango traveling westbound on Walnut at a high rate of speed. Struck a 2017 Chevy Malibu that was traveling north on 48. And we have information that that striking vehicle, the Durango, went through a red signal.
Any new information on the victim? I know the car had to be towed with the body. Is that, you know, gender or anything?
So the victim we know is a male, still unidentified as of yet, and we're going to wait for official identification from the medical examiner's office before any other releases are made. We don't know what kind of dog, so don't know. It just dog was in the car with him, so that operator was unfortunately pronounced on scene. The three occupants of the striking vehicle were transported to Presbyterian with minor injuries, and they've all been released pending investigation. You know, evidence that we obtain leads us down that path. We work closely with our district attorney's office, and we'll be referring charges if we're led that way.
Just to be clear, there are no charges at this point still?
No charge at this point. It's an active, ongoing investigation.
Any idea why these guys were going that fast?
Not at this time. We're trying to pull as much video as possible to determine the causes behind this crash.
Does it tell us that police got to the scene within seconds, and a few minutes maybe after it happened? Were officers nearby and they heard it happen?
Yes. We know that one of the district units pulled up pretty quickly, about a minute later on scene. So, the damage was like, if you were out there, you could see it was a pretty wide damage path out there, and it's an active investigation, and we're trying to piece it all together.
Was that responding officer who was there? I think we counted it was like 55 seconds. Were they working a job nearby, or they just happened to be in the area?
They were all in the area. Those officers were on scene, so
Not responding to anything else in particular?
not that we know of.
So it wasn't a chase, they were just happened to be right there with us.
At this time, yes, that's all the information we have.
Any other injuries?
Just the three occupants of the striking vehicle, and then the fatal injury to the driver of the second vehicle.
Nobody was in those parked vehicles?
Nobody was in those parked vehicles.
The three people in the striking car, they were all released, and were they all males?
They were all males in that car.
Okay, is there any suspicion that they could have been under the influence of something?
There is a possibility, and that the investigation will reveal that. We'll obtain that evidence. So,
Did one of the responding cars, happen to see the Durango speeding since they were close by?
can you say?
One of the police officers who responded, did they see the Durango speeding coming down Walnut Street before the crash happened?
Yeah, we did have prior information that there were vehicles racing around in that area. So, which our investigation we're going to continue to look at and see what's going on with that. That's why the officers were in the area, responded quickly.
So it's fair to say speed was definitely a factor.
Speed's definitely a factor. I mean, the onus is on the operator of the vehicle. So we see this a lot in Philadelphia. You see it as a private citizen driving around. That people race around on tight streets. There's not a lot of response time or reactivity time if something occurs. So that's why we continually push to the public about operating your vehicle safely, wearing your seatbelt, things like that. So.
Have you heard concerns from neighbors about speeding in this area before? We were talking to a lot of people this morning because they've been asking for common measures for a long time on Walnut. I know that's not necessarily.
Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily come to crash investigations. You know, it's something that we reach out with public affairs to see if they can get information from the district or streets department regarding that. You know, I do say, like, we work closely. Like, anytime there's, you know, it's part of the Vision Zero initiative. Police department is part of it. So I meet monthly with the streets department and Vision Zero representatives, and we try to, you know, to improve the highway design and everything else out there in Philadelphia to make the streets safer for our citizens.
So just so we're super clear, we have the Durango, the Chevy Malibu, and how many other vehicles?
There's 4 parked vehicles and then the two moving.
6 total.
Yes.
I know you guys are still investigating. No indication yet just how fast this car was going now.
No, we don't know yet. No, that'll take some time. Once we get video and we're able to do speed analysis, go out there personally and recreate that scene with cars, we don't have any indication on speed yet. And as we pull data from the car, so.
It looks like the Chevy Malibu had the right of way. The light had just turned, it looks like.
Yeah. So they had the green signal, and it looks to us that the striking vehicle disregarded a steady red.
Any indication this Dodge Durango was stolen?
No indications of that at all.
And when you said that there were reports of racing cars in the area around that time, police weren't chasing this Dodge Durango.
Not any information that we have at the time shows any chasing going on.
We saw one of your officers getting video. Have you had a chance to review that yet?
No, we have not. So I know the assigned is looking at that currently as we speak. So, you know, a lot of that stuff takes time and piecing it together. Cameras aren't always aligned with the time of occurrence, so try to go through that and develop the information we need from that. So
The 3 in the Durango are not detained at this point.
they're not detained at this point.
And well, you said you'll be referring charges. Any information on what kinds of charges?
If normally in cases where if the evidence leads us to that, I mean, you could range at anything from, you know, causing accidents while not properly licensed all the way up to vehicular homicide and murder 3. So depending on what level of intent or negligence is involved in that crash.
With officers getting there so quickly, is there possibly, you know, internal police video too, dash cams, body cams, anything like that also being reviewed?
Yeah, we review everything that's captured. The videos automatically upload on these incidents to things, and we review all across any departmental dash cam, body worn camera. We pull all private. We try to get as much private video as we possibly can, and any of the city cameras that are out there. So.
Last thing for me, you know, we've seen just one angle of this. It's difficult video to watch. What's your message to the community when they see this story?
When they see the story, I mean, it's as you indicated that some of the people in the community had said that they had reported, reckless driving in that area. Continue to report that information to your local district, so that we can document that stuff and show that and make a need for changes to highway design and roadway design. And also, like, just personally, to drive, make sure you're seat belted, make sure you're following the traffic laws. If we do find violations, as I said, in this case, we'll follow the evidence, and where that goes, we're going to refer charges. And
the victim, you said, is a male. Do you know how old he is? Has his family been notified? Is he from that area?
we don't know his identity yet, and before we give any information, it's all, we have a belief who it may be, but until that identification is made by the medical examiner of Philadelphia, we're going to withhold any statements on that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
So again, some questions, some being answered there, but it sounds like they still have a bit of investigating to do in that case. Remember, he's talking about a very serious, deadly car accident that happened this morning at 48th and Walnut. We are going to take a quick 2-minute break. We're going to talk about the New Jersey transit situation when it comes to FIFA transportation. People are already being critical of the plan. We've got Chris O'Connell, we've got the Sixers, we've got the Flyers, we've got it all. So come on back in 2 minutes. Welcome back, everybody. Chris O'Connell is on the story that I believe he basically broke to the viewers of this TV station. Macabre, interesting. The gentleman who's accused of all of it in court today. I am going to let you explain this because this is a case of the truth is stranger than fiction.
It sure is, Jen. Good afternoon. Yeah, we're live here from the Delaware County Courthouse in Media, Pennsylvania, where this morning there was a preliminary hearing for accused grave robber Jonathan Gerlach. He's the 34-year-old Lancaster County man who Yeadon police say was caught back in January. That is when this case first kind of came to light. He was caught, according to Yeadon police, with a burlap bag filled with human remains, some of those with children, several human skulls. After that, that launched a search of his Lancaster County home, which also found after that more than 100 human remains of people that were deceased and have been exhumed and now kept in his basement. Jonathan Gerlach today was his first time he appeared publicly in a Delaware County court. He waived his preliminary hearing, which is not at all uncommon, but in the course of that process, the prosecutors have dropped 2 of those burglary charges against him, but they also, Jen, added 2 more burglary charges, one out of Luzerne County and one out of Lancaster County. So they appear to be similar crimes. So Jonathan Gerlach remains behind bars on a $1 million bail. He's been in jail, unable to post bond ever since. So today was basically his preliminary hearing. He appeared in court very different than the mugshot you may seen him. He had his hair up in a bun. He had glasses on. He was wearing a lime green jumpsuit. He said very little other than, yes, Your Honor, yes, sir, those kinds of things. He was very cordial. But right now, the next court hearing is his status hearing, which is on June 3rd. He is not expected to be in court that day. So this either is going to do one of 2 things, Jen. This is either headed to trial or some sort of plea deal. He is being represented by a public defender at this point, and that public defender gave no comment today. So yes, it is a very macabre, fascinating case. It is believed that Jonathan Gerlach was selling these human remains online for some sort of profit, but some of these remains were from mausoleums and crypts, hundreds of years old, more than 100 plus years old. We did get a chance, Jen, to speak with the family members of Jonathan Pritchard. He died back in 1915. Back then, he purchased a family mausoleum to bury his 9 family members. Well, 5 of those crypts in the 9 were disturbed, and the body remains of their great aunt were stolen. Of course, they never knew these family members, but they knew that they, of course, remains wouldn't want to be disturbed, and has caused a horrible emotional time for their family, knowing that their family mausoleum was broken into, and repeat that dozens and dozens of times in mausoleums and crypts in the Mount Moriah Cemetery, which straddles Yeadon and Philadelphia. And now we're hearing that it could have happened in other cemeteries in Luzerne and Lancaster County. So that's the story from here. Again, a fascinating case. You'll hear from those ancestors of those family members of those whose remains were stolen coming up tonight on the Fox 29 News at 5 o'clock. Jen.
Remind me, was he also accused of selling some of the remains or some of the skeletons, or was there something like that going on?
That is not part of the crimes per se. He was not charged with that per se, because keep in mind, some of that is legal. Selling the remains, depending on how you get, not stolen remains, but some depending on how they're received, human remains, you can buy them online. But you cannot, of course, steal human remains and sell them. So that is not part of it, but it has been seen on social media. prosecutors and police say that may have been and probably was one of his motives, but that's not what he is charged with.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for breaking it down. It's just a crazy story. Just really interesting. Thank you. Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. In New Jersey, they have the finals for the FIFA World Cup. And the governor was just talking about their transit plan. It is already on social media, very controversial. We're going to break it down when we come back. As we wrap it up, we're going to finish with some sports headlines, basically. We're going to begin where we started with your Philadelphia Flyers. Now, this is video from the Camden Aquarium. Basically, the Penguins are going to support the Flyers. Let's just listen in.
Support the Philadelphia Flyers. These guys are a warm weather penguin species though, so we're going to have to support from afar in Camden, New Jersey. We won't be at the rink with them.
Let's go Flyers!
Hi guys, the Penguins.
So again, if you're wondering, that's what's happening. Even the actual Penguins are supporting the Flyers, which, you know what, Nicole from 92.5, maybe you should see what real support looks like. At the same time, we were looking in on that press conference that was happening with the New Jersey Transit Authority, and it was confusing to see what was going on because they were talking about a pass. And here's what we do know. Really, it revolves all around the finals that are going to be held right there at MetLife Stadium. So they announced that 40,150 round-trip tickets will be sold to transport fans to each FIFA World Cup game. The governor has really been honest about the fact she's disappointed that FIFA is not supporting any of the transportation cost. She said they're going to make, multi-billion dollars having this in the United States, and she basically inherited a flawed system. Chief among the flaws is how do you get the people in and around to these stadiums? So what they said is 40,000 of these passes will be sold. And it starts on, I believe, May 13th is when you're going to be able to buy them. They're going to be $150. And I just want to remind you, a typical train ticket from New York's Penn Station to MetLife Station cost $12.90. So fans living in the city must use Penn Station for rail travel to the stadium on match days. So the only way to and from the games will be mass transit, ride share, and chartered buses and parking. That's going to cost about $225. You can park over there in the nearby American Dream Mall. That is typically how it works up there. I do know that I've been to a game and it was crazy. You had to like go to New York and then get on the mass transit to get back. So again, some people like the New York headlines are already very critical of this. She says they really had no other choice but to do it. As we wrap up the show, Jason Martinez, he doesn't really do a lot around here. So he had some time. Oh wait, what do we have there? A penguin dressed up as a flyer? That's cool too. Okay, but I just want to highlight, we got to wrap it up. It's a big energy, big week. Basically we have, Penguin Cleaners of Collingswood. I like that. They're going to be that.